If you're planning a move to Charlotte, North Carolina, then you're probably doing some research and looking at market stats. We are Kristen and Jason Ripoli, and we get calls and emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to the Charlotte area. So whether you're moving in a month or a year, be sure to call, text, or email. We'd love to help you start your journey to Charlotte. In today's video, we are looking at the market stats for all of 2022 and diving a little bit into our predictions for 2023.
All right, like you said, we're going to go over the 2022 real estate stats. And then toward the end of the video, we're going to get out our crystal balls and make a little prediction about what we think is going to happen in this new year that we have. But first, we're going to go over new listings for 2022 in the Charlotte area. What do you got for us?
In the entire Charlotte region, we had 57,973 new listings, and that is a decrease of 10% from 2021.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant drop off, but it's more on par with if you go back pre-pandemic. So we're getting back to those levels now that all that craziness has kind of passed us by, but still a significant drop off.
For sure.
The next one we're going to look at is pending sales. What do you got for those numbers?
So the pending sales, these are the properties that went under contract. That was 47,477, which was a pretty significant drop from 2021, 20.5% less in 2022.
Yep, that's even a steeper drop than the new listings, but that's to be expected in this kind of environment where we're kind of shifting back to where we were pre-pandemic.
If we look back, it was actually pretty close to the 2018 numbers. So in 2018, we had 47,779, and it has been increasing every year since then until 2022. So it was pretty close.
Yeah. Okay, and the next one we're going to look at, it kind of goes along with pending sales, but now we're going to look at closed sales.
Of course, closed sales are all the homes that closed in 2022. So this is a pretty good number to look at. 50,286 homes closed in the Charlotte area, a decrease of 15.3% from 2021.
And like you said before, even if you go back pre-pandemic to 2018, we're actually a little bit higher in 2022. In 2018, it was 48,068. So we're still getting sales. It's not like we're completely halted here.
Yeah, just kind of a throwback to pre-pandemic numbers in a lot of these.
Yes. All right, and the next one we're going to look at here is inventory of homes for sale. What are we doing? What are we looking at there?
The inventory of homes for sale at the end of the year was 6,479. This was a really significant increase from 2021. It was a 54% increase, but it is important to note that during the pandemic, a lot of new construction, those neighborhoods were not putting homes, they were not putting inventory in MLS because they were selling direct. People were coming right in, getting their inventory as soon as they released it. They were selling off their website, so they were not needing to put their homes into the MLS. 2022, that changed. New homes, new construction were having to go into MLS, and so that significant increase can be attributed partly to that.
Yes, for sure. And the next one we're going to look at is median sales price, which is pretty staggering in itself. What do you got for us there?
As always, real estate is a very stable investment to get into because it tends to increase year over year. In fact,
what percentage of that?
If you look back over long-term spans of time, no matter what market you're looking in, you're really looking at an increase of between 4 and 5% every single year. So it is a very stable investment. In 2022,
however,
our median sales price was $379,890, an increase of 16.7% from last year.
And that is in addition to 2021 being a 16.2% increase from the previous year. Exactly. So with this pandemic boom, everything's been going up and it eventually has to stabilize. And that's where we kind of are now. And the next one we're going to go into is average sales price.
Yeah, average is just a little bit different than median. If you want to go back to math class and learn what the difference is, I'm happy to go over that if you have questions. But the average sales price for the Charlotte area in 2022, $444,600. And that was an increase of 14.9%.
Yeah, And it's basically the same thing with the median sales price. They've increased significantly over the last couple of years.
Exactly.
Okay. And the next one we're going to go to is list to close. So go ahead and explain that and then go over the numbers.
Yeah, list to close is basically a count of the number of days between the time the home is listed on the market until the time it closes. So it's the entire transaction period. It's from the time it goes active and can be shown until the time it's closed. The average list to close in the Charlotte area in 2022 was 77 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's up from 73 days in 2021, a very insignificant increase. I think people have found that it can be a lot faster to close a transaction. The lenders can move faster, the inspectors can move faster. So 77 feels like a pretty stable place to be.
Yeah. Yep, and that's a very good number, and it hasn't really been that different over the last couple of years. It's a little bit lower than it was pre-pandemic, but it's right around 80 days, and that's pretty good for a house to know that if when you go under contract or listed to close, that's about how long it's going to take. So the next stat we're going to look at is percent of original list price received. Go ahead and explain what that one is, and then go ahead and go into the numbers.
Sure. So when you list a home on the market, you have your original list price. And then you take your closed sales price and you're going to divide to find out what percent is actually where it's closing. So essentially, if the homes close above list price, you're going to have over 100%. Mm-hmm. If the homes close below list price, you're going to have below 100%. It makes sense. Throughout the pandemic, I think that a lot of sellers got used to hearing 20,000 over list, 30,000 over list. And it was very, very common. We were over 100% a lot in the pandemic market.
Almost every month.
In 2022, we did have a little bit of a shift there. So the beginning of 2022 was still low interest, like historically low interest rates, and tons of buyers in the market, not enough inventory. So we had a lot of homes selling above list price with multiple offers. Around, where was it, April, when interest rates went up?
March, April is when they started going up quite a bit, yes.
When interest rates went up, they went up fast and completely changed the market. And we spent the rest of the year coming down from that high.
Yeah.
So the average from the entire 2022, 99.7% list to close ratio. But really, if you're looking at the month by month numbers, December closed out at 94.7%. So we did have a very marked decrease throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a lot of people are still getting used to the fact because their neighbors might have sold a couple months ago, 6-7 months ago, and they got well over asking because the peak was around June, and they think they can get that, but the market has shifted. So it's very important to get a real estate expert, and you got two of them on the screen for you right now. Okay, and now we're going to move into the next section. All right, so next I want to ask you if you could briefly go over the property type reviews between single family and condos.
Sure. So the main property types you can buy are detached homes or attached homes. So single family homes are those detached homes that are just by themselves, and attached homes are going to be your condos, your townhomes. Okay. So basically the average list to close for single family homes was 76 days. And the average list to close for condos and townhomes was 85. So it does take a little bit longer to sell an attached home in the Charlotte area, but only by 9 days. So it's not a huge difference. Then looking at the 1-year change in price, the 1-year change in price for single family homes, 14.7% increase, but a 20.1% increase for the condos and townhomes. So just looking from 2021 to 2022, the condos and townhomes actually increased more in price. So that's interesting to note. And then lastly, the percent of original list price received. Condos actually closed out the year. Condos and townhomes closed out the year at over 100%, 100.7%. So it's important to pay attention to the fact that maybe they're priced out of the single family home market and they're going to purchase the condos and townhomes. And because that, they're increasing their buyer pool a little bit.
The stats do say that, so that's good. All right, so next we want to go just a little bit into distressed homes because that was real big back in the 2008 crisis, and everyone thinks that that's going to happen again. the stats right now kind of aren't telling that story, but go ahead and take that over and let us tell us a little bit about the distressed homes in the Charlotte area.
Yeah, I'm still hearing a lot of people anticipating foreclosures, short sales. And as of right now, the numbers are not supporting that.
Yeah.
In 2022, we only had a 0.4% of closed sales that were distressed properties. So foreclosures and short sales. 0.4% is very low. And it's actually exactly the same as 2021. There was no change at all. It's important to keep that in mind because homes have gained so much equity over the past,
A lot.
I mean, basically since 2012, we've been going up.
Mm-hmm.
So homes have been increasing equity for so long that even if you find yourself losing your job or being in a crisis where you have to sell, you probably have the equity saved up in the home.
Yeah.
Unless you've only been there for like a year or less, and those cases are minimal.
All right. In our next stop, we're going to be talking about the price ranges in the Charlotte area. So go ahead and take that one away.
Yeah, absolutely. So the homes that sell the fastest in the Charlotte area are the homes that are priced between $200,000 and $300,000. Those homes have a days on market of about 19 on average, which is very low.
Mm-hmm.
And the highest days on market are the homes that are actually under $100,000. So that surprised me. Just going through between 200,000 and 300,000, that's a 19 days on market. And the next range up 300,000 to 400,000, also 19 days on market. It increases slightly when you bump up to the next one. 400,000 to $500,000 is 21 days on market. And then when we go above $500,000, we're looking at 26 days on market.
Yeah, and so any way you look at that, all those numbers, 30 days or less to sell any type of house or property in Charlotte area, still shows that Charlotte has a lot of attractiveness to it when it comes to the real estate side.
And just to let you know, days on market is not the same as list to close. Days on market is talking about how long from active until it can't be seen. So active, all of the homes active and under contract show, meaning that people can still come and see the property, maybe even make a backup offer, but it's counting those days where it's
so it's basically a second if it goes under contract. Is that when that closes that
No,
window?
When it goes under contract, no show, that's another status in our MLS. So under contract, no show means that no further showings are permitted.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. All right, so we're almost finished here. We only got a few more to go, but the next one I wanted to ask you about was showings review. Go ahead and delve into that a little bit.
Right. So the median number of showings it takes to go under contract in 2022 was 19. And just to remind you guys, the market shifted quite a bit in 2022. Back in the beginning, you might have had 19 showings in 3 days.
Yes.
And then towards the end of the year, it might have taken 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to hit 19 showings. So just keeping in mind that 2022 was a very tumultuous year in our real estate market. All right, that covers our overview of the 2022 market in the Charlotte area. We're going to jump into the predictions for 2023. But before we do, I just want to remind you my number and email are on the screen for you. If you have any questions about the market or if you'd like the stats for your neighborhood or your town, simply reach out. I would love to provide those numbers to you.
Okay, and we're going to delve into our crystal ball here. Now, everything we say here is taken with a grain of salt. We don't know the future. These are just predictions about where we see the market now and where we see it in the next 6 months to a year. I will start off by saying that Zillow ranked Charlotte as the hottest market in 2023. So yay for Charlotte. And we're here ready to help you guys. So
why do you think that is? Why do you think Charlotte is so popular looking at 2023?
Well, to be fair, with the prices that have gone up with the housing market, is still very favorable than other big metro cities in the nation. It's a growing city, so lots of companies are already established here and more are coming. So lots of jobs, great weather. You're only 3 hours from either the beach, which I love, or the mountains, which I also love. So you have great options either way you want to go. And Charlotte has lots of sports teams and just lots of family activities. And it's the South, so we're from the North, and it is true what they say. Southern
hospitality.
Southern hospitality is a thing, and it's just quite nice down here. So
that's true.
That's what I think. So now going back to our predictions, I know that the Fed is still raising rates. So we're around, what are we today? Around between 6% and 7%, 6.5% is where we've been most recently. I think they're still going to raise rates a couple times the first 6 months of the year to still curb inflation, which inflation is finally coming down, even though we don't see it much at the market where you're paying about $7 for a carton of eggs. But it is coming down, and it has been coming down for a couple months, but they still want to make sure they get it under control. So my prediction is a 0.25% increase the next couple months, then they freeze it. They have stated before that they are not willing to cut interest rates this year, but that could change after 6 months if the economy is going in the right direction. So, in regards to housing, if it stays around that point, we're still looking okay because historically rates are around 6 to 7%. We just got used to the 2s and the 3s, which were not sustainable for a long term.
And probably will never happen again, not in my lifetime.
No, it will take another pandemic, and those happen about once a century or once every other century. So
Yeah.
you can't really bank on that.
Even with a pandemic, I think that they wouldn't lower interest rates to what they did this last time
Learn their
because
lesson.
they have seen what that did. So I would anticipate that those 2s and 3s are probably gone for forever.
Yeah. So if you guys are waiting for interest rates to come down, typically they probably won't come down below 5. You'll be lucky if you see 4.5%, maybe 4 if you have great ratings, but nothing in the 2s or 3s ever again.
But speaking about that, though, there are ways to lower your interest rate and lower your payments. Mm-hmm. Number one, you can buy down your rate. When you purchase a home loan, you can put more money down to lower your interest rate. Mm-hmm. And in this current market, because buyers do have a little bit more leverage, we are seeing a lot of sellers paying for either a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down, which is temporarily lowering your interest rate for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year at different rates.
And if you have more questions on that, just give her a call and she'll be able to help you out.
Yeah, and honestly, you're marrying the house and dating the rate. If the interest rates are going to come down in 1 year, 2 years, you can refinance. Refinancing is so quick and easy, and you can find the home that you love and lower your rate later.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on the coming 2023? What do you think of the first half of the year and then the second half of the year are going to look like?
I think that interest rates have somewhat stabilized. Mm-hmm. If we see an increase, I do think it'll come back down to about where we are now. I think it's possible that we might get below 6% before the end of the year, but it won't be until probably the fall or winter. Mm-hmm. And that's a little bit hopeful, wishful thinking there. But
we like to be positive.
It would be nice. And I think that a lot of people are expecting prices to go down. I just don't see that happening. There might be localized decreases in prices, but the year-over-year prices are not. I don't think they're going to go down.
I pretty much agree with that. I do think that the buyers have more leverage now and they can get better deals than before. But yeah, in this market within the Charlotte area, it's just not going to go down that much. It's going to go down a little bit. You can negotiate. I think sellers of their homes are still pricing too high because they're still in the pandemic mode. But yeah, I think 2023 might come down slightly. But the way the prices are right now, around what's the median average around here, like 350?
The list price or the sale price?
Or like the list price.
List price is still a little bit higher, so we're looking at in the 4s, but
yeah,
the sale price is the median sale price that we talked about was more, close to 380.
Yeah. So like they will come down. I know she has a little bit different opinion than I do. She thinks they'll probably stay kind of where they are. I still think they have a little bit of room to come down, but go ahead and talk about the rest of what everything's going to happen this year.
So I really think days on market is going to keep increasing. We have seen a very steady increase basically since 2022, like June, July. We've been seeing those days on market increasing month after month. I don't think it's over. I think we're still going to see those days on market increasing. Even though the numbers are still telling us we are in a seller's market, buyers are being very selective on the homes they're purchasing.
Yes,
they're not feeling pressured into buying anything. So I think the days on market, it's not done. We're still going to keep going up.
Yeah. So just to wrap it up, 2023 is kind of going to be like more of a transition year where everything kind of gets more back to normal. But I think the second half of the year is going to be really good for real estate, at least in the Charlotte market, because I think the inflation will be under control. The Fed will know what they're doing by then with the interest rates, and we'll kind of just flow from there.
Absolutely. All right, well, that concludes our prediction portion. If you're watching this video and you have a prediction about 2023, we'd love to hear about it. Could you leave a comment below and let us know what your prediction for 2023 is? And if you found value in this video, please like it and share it with your friends and family. All right, that's it for us today. You know how to reach us. My number and email are on the screen for you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.